Welcome back to From the Pages of Wrestling Eye, the October 1990 issue, and this is one of those magazines that doesn't try to ease you in gently. It comes right at you with attitude, with confidence, and with that very clear message that it's not here to play nice with the wrestling business. It's here to poke at it, question it, and sometimes flat out challenge it, and you feel that from the first few pages before you even get to the major features. Right away, before the stories even begin, the magazine is selling itself hard. Subscription pushes, bold claims, and that repeated idea that this is the only place that really tells it like it is. It leans into full color presentation, it leans into variety, and it leans into the idea that it's covering more than just one company. WWF, NWA, independents, women's wrestling, everything gets space here, and it gives the issue this layered feel. Like you're not just reading one version of wrestling, you're seeing the whole landscape at once. Then the editorial hits, and this is where the personality of the magazine really shows itself. It takes aim at the Hulk Hogan hospital storyline with Tugboat, and it doesn't treat it like a dramatic moment to be respected. It treats it like something to be questioned. It pushes the idea that the angle might not be what it appears, that maybe there's another purpose behind it, even suggesting that it could be tied to marketing and mailing lists. That's a bold swing for a wrestling magazine at the time, and it sets the tone for everything that follows. This is not going to be a polite recap of what you saw on television. This is going to have opinions, and sometimes those opinions are going to push back against what the companies want you to believe. And then you move into the first major feature, and it's built around presence as much as anything else. Rick Rude and Ultimate Warrior framed as the battle of bodies, but underneath that, it's really about credibility, about who feels like they belong at the top and who might be standing there on momentum alone. Rude is presented as someone who has sharpened himself, who has moved beyond just being flashy, someone who is more, serious now, more focused, more dangerous. There's a sense that he's evolving into something bigger than he was before. Warrior, on the other hand, is handled very differently. The look is there, the energy is there, the connection is there, but the questions creep in. Can he carry it? Can he sustain it? Does the presentation match the performance? And the article never says it outright, but it keeps circling that idea that something might not hold, that something might shift, and even hints at the possibility of a change in direction down the line. That's the kind of thing this magazine likes to do. Not just tell you what is happening, but suggest what might be coming. And then Earthquake crashes into the issue, and this is where the magazine blends spectacle with substance. It starts with the chaos, the ambush, the confusion, the shock of that moment, and then it pulls back and fills in the gaps. This isn't just a giant dropped into the scene. This is someone with a background, someone who has worked, trained, competed in Japan, someone who has shared the ring with names that matter. It acknowledges the way he's presented, that some people might just see the size and the impact and nothing else, but it pushes beyond that. It frames him as a real threat, someone moving quickly into the main event picture, someone who has already left a mark by taking Hogan out of the equation, even if only temporarily, and that's what makes it feel important. It's not just a debut, it's a disruption. And then the issue takes a turn, and the energy changes completely with the Tommy Rich story. This is where the magazine slows down and really digs in. It starts with that incredible moment, that world title win that came so early and felt so unexpected. And then it starts to unravel everything that came after. The loss, the feud with Buzz Sawyer, the kind of rivalry that goes beyond the wins and losses and starts to take something out of you. The article treats that feud like a turning point, not just in his career, but in who he was as a wrestler. And then you see the effects, the speed fading, the weight coming on, the drift into smaller promotions, the change in attitude, the bitterness that starts to creep in. It doesn't rush past any of that. It lets it sit. And then just when it feels like it's gone too far, it shifts again. another chance, a return, a glimpse of what used to be there. Not a full recovery, not a complete comeback, but enough to remind you that the story isn't finished. Mike Rotunda's feature follows, and it carries a similar weight, but with a different tone. This is about potential that didn't quite stay on track. Early success, strong foundation, the kind of athlete who looks like he should be at the top, and then the turns, the partnerships, the tag success, the move into different roles, and then that darker period with the varsity club. The article leans into that influence, almost treating it like something that pulled him away from who he was supposed to be. And now the focus is on reclaiming that identity, getting back to basics, getting back to being the all-American competitor. It's not just about wins, it's about direction. And then the issue takes one of its boldest swings with the Ric Flair feature, and the power of it is in the question itself. Is it time? That's all you need. It's not framed as a celebration. It's not framed as a highlight reel. It's framed as a moment of evaluation. After everything, after all the matches, all the miles, all the time at the top, is there a point where it starts to slip? Is there a point where even someone like Flair has to face that question? The magazine doesn't soften it. It puts it right in front of you and lets it sit there. The Midnight Express piece keeps that same kind of energy, but shifts it into the world of tag teams. Rise and fall, confidence and collapse, success and frustration. It looks at what they were, what they became, and what it took to get there, and it doesn't ignore the mistakes along the way. It talks about the need to get back to what made them dangerous, but also the risk of falling back into the same patterns that caused problems before. It's not just a look back, it's a question about what comes next. Then the magazine opens up even wider. Kerry Von Erich is positioned as someone who feels like a champion even when he isn't holding the title, someone who carries that presence whether the belt is there or not. The AIWA gets introduced, pulling attention to another part of the wrestling world that doesn't always get the spotlight. The Independent Stars Gallery reminds you that there's talent everywhere, not just in the biggest companies, and that if you're paying attention, you can see the future before it fully arrives. Tom Pritchard comes in with that grounded, no-nonsense presentation, a wrestler who relies on toughness and technique more than flash. Big John Studd follows with the message that he's not done, that size and presence still have a place, that there's still something left in the tank. And then Misty Blue brings in a completely different perspective, showing the development of a women's star, the work, the progression, the effort to build something in a space that doesn't always get equal attention. All the while, the visuals keep hitting you. Pinups layered throughout the issue, full color images that stop you mid-page. Roddy Piper, Jeff Jarrett, Ricky Morton early on. Then Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, and Bret Hart facing off. Michael Hayes and Randy Rose, the Road Warriors, Stan Lane, Ted DiBiase, Ric Flair. These aren't just filler pages, they're part of the experience. They give you something to sit with, something to go back to, something to remember. The departments keep everything connected. Ratings give it structure, a sense of where everyone stands. Columns give it voice, opinions that don't always line up with the mainstream. Letters and fan sections bring in that outside perspective, showing how people are reacting, what they're thinking, what they're questioning. It creates this back and forth feeling like the magazine isn't just talking at you, it's part of a larger conversation. And when you step back from the whole thing, what really stands out is how much it's willing to push. It doesn't just present wrestling as it is, it challenges it, it questions it. It looks at the cracks, the changes, the moments where things might shift. At the same time, it celebrates it, the personalities, the presence, the visuals, the moments that make it larger than life. It's not clean, it's not perfectly balanced, but that's what makes it feel real for the time. Wrestling in 1990 is in motion, changing, expanding, and this issue captures that by not trying to smooth it out. If this one hit for you, save it and come back to it, because this is the kind of issue that gives you something new every time you go through it. And drop your memory from this era. What felt real, what stood out, what didn't quite sit right. See you next time. Farewell from the Empire State.